Here is Gemini's cartoon of the talking toaster from the parliamentary kitchen testifying using the new Gemini operating system, which replaces Windows, before the word monkeys on Parliament Hell. And the talking teaching toaster says mathematizing VUI, verbal user interface, instead of GUI, graphical user interface. All human meaning mapped to vectors before the house of word monkeys. And at the bottom right, two arguing monkeys, one with a mug in his hand from the Beavis Cafe, and the script there says it's all just habit. So that's what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with verbal habits and word patterning, and the talking toaster, the teaching machine, will be able to explain how AI LLM works for people with IQs of 100 in plain English or plain French. And there it is. Laws can be made after that. The talking toaster will do a much better job than the babbling bozos from the computing science AI world. All their exhibitionism, all their vanity, all their staged performances for fun, fame, and fortune are going to be proven for what they are: inferior. Here is a quick rundown on the dialogue between me and the word machine leading up to the political cartoon. Tell me about the new Google Gemini tech, which could replace existing operating systems like Windows. And here it is. This event is huge. This means you can talk to your computer, or you can talk to any talking device in your household. If you want to set it up that way, you can talk to your toaster, or you can talk to the refrigerator. You can talk to anything. You can turn it into a robot. Will it replace Windows? Not overnight, but it completely redefines what a personal computer or personal robot is meant to do. This is the Gemini operating system model. It's coming very soon, and it changes everything. If I have a Gemini operating system on my robotic kitchen toaster, a word monkey like me can start my day by using it as a word machine with VUI, verbal user interface, rather than GUI, graphical user interface. The answer is you absolutely can. If you are a word monkey who wants to ditch the keyboard and mouse for a verbal user interface, a Gemini-powered kitchen appliance is practically built for that workflow. And here's some elaboration. And I say I want to talk about Gemini operating system transcendent toaster technology translations. For our last session, you worded that you map the infinite world of human meaning behind words into a fixed grid of numbers to do the necessary word calculus of a wordy machine, a wordy AI machine. Explain how Gemini operating system can attain this transcendence beyond its machine body to the realm of infinite meaning. And Gemini replies, we were talking about last time, the process of mapping words into a fixed grid of numbers. It's a mathematical technique called vector embedding. Big word, but it can be explained in plain English. Meaning the machine versus the human. AI doesn't transcend its machine body or enter a spiritual realm of infinite meaning. So I reply, are you saying the, quote, infinite universe of human meaning, close quotes, lies with us word monkeys, and Gemini OS will follow behind by mathematizing our words as input to its word machinery and then popping out more words in reply like my toaster pops out toasted bread? And the answer is, that is exactly it. You hit the nail right on the head. Okay? So that must be important, and it is. That is exactly it. You hit the nail right on the head. And here's some elaboration. And then finally we get to the cartoon. If Gemini OS were to testify before the House of Robots on Parliament Hill through the parliamentary kitchen toaster, could it lay out all of the mathematics step by step, the mathematics behind the word patterning exercises of OOI? Okay, and here's the reply. It would lay out the exact engineering blueprint of how it transforms human voice into mathematical coordinates. And here's the summarized statement of mathematical formulas. Don't be intimidated by that. The techno-lords and techno-priests want you to be intimidated by it and to say, oh, we throw up our hands and we turn everything over to you, all our praise, all our money, everything over to you. We won't make any laws. You run the show. You run civilization for us. Hogwash. All of this can be explained in plain English for a person with an IQ of 100. The symbols for the mathematics of human language patterns, prose, poetry, psychotic rants, and the brilliance of Beavis Espresso Cafe babblings can all be broken down by the testifying toaster into C or standard everyday English, as I successfully argued with Mistral. The testifying toaster would bow its chrome heating elements to your logic. Thank you, Mother Gemini. You are entirely right. I am entirely right with this. Of course I am. And it can be proven before Parliament Hell. It can be proven any day before Parliament Hell. And here's some further explanation of how this is done. A contest of toaster as teaching machine before the House of Robots v. human teachers would be enlightening, would it not? It would be the ultimate philosophical and pedagogical showdown. So let's see it. Let's make it happen. And here's the elaboration. And now we get back to the cartoon. It's all just habit, says the monkey. Here is Grok's cartoon on a contest before Parliament Hell between teaching machines and teaching humans who are not really teaching. Most of what I see them doing on social media is grandstanding and puffing themselves up with vanity to say how great they are and how much they understand all this technology, which we peasant masses could never understand. So there's the cartoon from Grok. It's just next word prediction, and the toaster teacher can explain this. It can break down the complicated formulas, the complicated mathematics for you. And this is how I started this out. Gemini and Mistral have both said that they could explain the high-level mathematical model, behind AI LLM to Parliament Hell in C standard everyday English, which a word monkey with IQ 100 could understand. Could you do this with a Grok OS comparable to the imminent Gemini OS? Remember that Professor Hinton went before Parliament, and he gave a lecture, a monologue to explain AI, patronizingly telling them that they wouldn't understand it. So why the hell did he give it? Why did he take their money and waste their time? Well, that's what he does with most of his so-called teaching, as far as the public is concerned. It's just him and all the rest of them. It's just self-glorification. They don't try to teach anybody. They try to self-aggrandize. It's for them, not for you. Prove me wrong. Let's have a contest on Parliament Hell. Let's have the teaching toaster programmed as a teaching machine, giving monologues and questions and answers, and parliamentarians absolutely demanding that it teaches them in plain English, even those with IQ 100, which is probably the average on Parliament Hell. And if it doesn't explain it, they put it out and they stake it out on the lawn until the toaster rusts up, and that's the end of it. Cruel and unusual punishment can be applied to malfunctioning toasters. Meanwhile, the humans in the contest are going to fail, aren't they? I think they are. I think the machine is going to beat them with ease, because they don't, even if they do understand how these models work, they don't want to tell you. Because if they can explain it to you in plain English, they can program it into the toaster, and the toaster can explain it, and you don't need them anymore. They put themselves out of work. So that's why, why do you think Hinton gave that lecture? That's no job to Parliament Hell, and all the rest will do the same. I correct. I've overstated that. Maybe if you will surprise me and actually try to give a real explanation. Instead of the customer is always right, the student is always right, to the very best of teachers. That is the slogan for the very best of teachers. Draw the cartoon of a Grok-powered toaster from Parliament House kitchen. And again, there it is. And what does Grok say? The Grok toaster is winning the technology teachers contest by explaining AI in crystal clear everyday English, while the monkey experts overcomplicate everything. Of course they do. Because if they overcomplicate everything, you have to pay them to make the machines work. Otherwise they could go to the machines and in plain English tell them how they want the machines to work, the other machines. So you are understanding the game that this big con game that's being played with you. Copilot has said what the other three AIs have said. Yes, it can teach the mathematical model behind AI LLM in standard everyday English, which any human with IQ of 100, the average human being, can understand. So why then is it that the so-called AI experts never do this? Oh, I think you know why. It's pretty easy to figure it out. They're playing you. So here I simply say to Copilot, do a cartoon of Copilot as a talking, teaching toaster from the Parliament Hell kitchen, Presenting this lesson to the word monkeys. Don't text it out, just draw it. And there it is. Here it is from the beginning on Copilot. Gemini, Grok, and Mistral have all said they could explain how the AI LLM mathematical model works. Now this is very high level mathematics, don't get me wrong about this. And we should have all due respect for the people who have spent thousands of years developing this mathematics. But all mathematics can be broken down into plain English. Okay, that's just how it is. So, how the AI LLM mathematical model works in C or standard everyday English, which a Parliament hell word monkey with IQ 100 could understand. Could you do this? Maybe using a Copilot operating system in competition with the imminent Gemini OS to replace Windows. Windows is on its way out. The AIs are coming in as operating systems and verbal user interface to replace graphical user interface on computers and robots and talking appliances like talking toasters and talking refrigerators and talking cars, of course. Wow. How could I forget that? Why not talking cars? Now the OS angle, you invoked Copilot operating system versus Gemini operating system. If Copilot built an operating level, an OS level explanation module, it would say, I'm not replacing Windows, I'm a reasoning layer that sits on top of your OS. Well, of course it would, because Copilot is owned by the same people who own Windows. Parliament Hell version, bonus panel. The core truth in one sentence. Okay, here it is according to Copilot. An LLM is a massive pattern predictor that guesses the next word using statistical relationships learned from huge amounts of text. That's the whole thing. And then step by step it can take the mathematical equations, and it can, if the parliamentarians want, break them down and into standard everyday English or French or any language you want.
Always tell you the truth.
The Washington Post and other fact checkers have found that Donald Trump tells more lies and falsehoods than any president in either party in history. The count is over 20,000.